The MUITO Plus is the most advanced activity monitoring system available currently. It monitors activity and interprets that as behaviour, and these behaviours are either heat detection, feeding, ruminating, resting.
In terms of technology, the MUITO Plus is a step change by comparison to other activity systems out there in the marketplace already. It records much more information, it has much longer range, and the level of precision within this MUITO Plus is much greater than anything else in the marketplace. It's been built based on the knowledge we developed in our first generation MUITO product, which has been shown to be one of the world's most accurate heat detection systems. One of the big benefits, of course, of using MUITO Plus is the fact that more animals are bred to AI. And breeding animals to AI means that you're going to end up with better offspring. Those offspring are going to be more productive and they're going to command more value in the marketplace afterwards. And this is something that's very much the focus of many farmers' minds.
The genetic gain that has been achieved in milk production countries all over the world is largely due to the advent and uptake of artificial insemination, combined with progeny testing schemes. So there's been remarkable improvement in the genetics for both milk production and now more recently genetics for fertility traits. The main advantage of AI is that the very best bulls are being identified, and certainly AI is a critical component of achieving the best genetics for the type of system you're trying to farm. In Ireland at the moment we have a very healthy indigenous AI industry, and most of the semen that's used is actually generated here in Ireland.
If you have a bull on your farm, in the end of the day, okay, they say you really don't have to do much work because the bull is doing the work for you. Well, in that order, an automated heat detection system with a good accuracy does the same work as the bull, plus it actually does a little bit extra for you. It is way quicker with taking out the animals that are not in heat or do not come in heat after calving, is able even to go and look at the individual cow, monitor all her activity and actually give health alerts, and that is something that a bull cannot do. There's also the risk of your sexually transmitted diseases.
Animals are dangerous in general, but bulls, dairy bulls in particular, are even more dangerous than, say, the standard beef bull. They tend to be more aggressive, and a lot of farms are family-based, so you have maybe children in and out through the cows, and it's not like a suckler or beef system where the cattle are just left out in the field all the time. These cows are in and out from the fields twice a day, so people have a lot of contact with them, and that increases the exposure or the potential risk of coming in contact with an aggressive animal. Despite the fact that herds are getting bigger, cows still need to be managed as individuals, so attention needs to be given to their health and their fertility. If we focus on individual cows, the only two ways we can do this are by employing more staff, spending more time observing these cows several times over the day and night, or else by investing in technology such as a MUITO Plus system, which functions electronically to monitor the health and welfare of the cows.
If you look at actually what a cow does throughout her day, she lies down, she rests, she eats either grass or whatever forage is there, and then the cow ruminates.
We know that a cow should graze for maybe 8 to 11 hours within a day, and if she's below that, there's obviously a problem. With the collars, it's a real-time kind of indicator that you can look and immediately see that there's an issue with the cow's grazing time or with the ruminating time, and that would make you go investigate that cow further to see if there is an issue. She may be suffering from acidosis, or especially in early lactation, it would be a pretty good indicator health-wise.
If a cow is not eating as much as she should, if she's not ruminating as much as she should, she's not going to be as productive. If there's a big change in this behaviour, there's generally a reason why there's a change in that behaviour. And really this is a flagging and alerting system to point you that when there are these changes in behaviour, that you need to go and you need to examine that cow, because there's a huge chance that that animal is sick. MUITO Plus analyses all this data that's sent up to the cloud, and if there's a change that it reckons that you need to know, it will send you an alert right down to your phone, So with one click you can launch the app, see the data on the particular cows and observe what's actually happening. So if cows their feeding behaviour has changed for a particular reason, you now know about it. You're not just waiting for milk production to drop. You know it much sooner, so you can do something about it much sooner and maximise milk yields in that way.
In a pasture-based system, you maximise your profitability by synchronising the supply of grass with the demand for grass. So you calf your cows in a way that they can harvest as much grass as possible during the grazing season. We've recently completed a study where we link fertility with 6-week calving rate. So 6-week calving rate is the proportion or the percentage of cows that calf in a 6-week period in the calving season. So what we've estimated is that for every 1% increase in 6-week calving rate, that's worth €8.22 per cow in the herd. The target 6-week calving rate is 90%. Nationally we're at somewhere around 60%. So for that 30% increase in 6-week calving rate is worth about €250 per cow, or a 100 cow herd is worth about €25,000. And that's brought about by 3 factors. The first one is in relation to the replacement rate, the second one is in relation to the calving date and spread, and the third one is related to the direct intervention, number of AI straws and so on that's used.
One of the really good things that this technology does is that it identifies which cows are in heat, but it also helps identify which cows are not in heat. So just prior to the breeding season, it's possible to see what cows have resumed normal cyclicity, if there's any cystic cows, if there's any estrus cows that are not cycling. You can identify those cows, call your vet. The vet can scan those cows and apply appropriate treatments to get those cows back in fit condition as soon as possible. And that means that the chance of getting the cow pregnant is much better, much quicker, which results in more milk and a healthier animal. It's really a big game changer in terms of reproductive efficiency and health monitoring, and it's just about making life easier, particularly as you expand your herd. One of the really cool features of the Moo Monitor Plus is the ability to scan the tag with your mobile phone. So all you have to do when you want to put this on the particular animal is you just wipe your mobile phone across it. And there and then it pops up and it actually reads the Moo Monitor for you. You just key in the cow ID and save. It has about 5,000 times more range than some other systems out there on the marketplace. That's why we call it extra long range.
If people, they're busier, farmers are busier, we're even busier out in the yards, that if you can look at the app while you're still out there with the cow, you can immediately pull up information on her. You don't have to go back into the office and look at her records. So essentially you're not wasting any time. You get data there and then about what that cow is up to.
With the Moo Monitor Plus app, you've actually full two-way communications back to the cloud. The big benefit of this is that if you're putting a new Moo Monitor on a cow for the first time, you just pop the information into your mobile phone and the system is updated. You don't have to walk back to a PC to do that. The other advantage of having an app is that any information you need to know can be pushed right out to your mobile phone, and you can get alerts in the same way as you can have news alerts on your phone and so on. So this really means that you're connected into what's happening on the farm at all times.
The gold standard sign that a cow is in heat is that she'll stand to be mounted by another cow. When that happens, that cow is in standing heat, she's truly in estrus. There are other secondary signs that can be used to identify when cows are in heat. These include an increase in activity. Cows are more active, they're part of a sexually active group. Cows will bellow more, they have an increase in body temperature, clear elastic strings of mucus coming from the vagina. These are all secondary signs that can be used to identify when a cow is in heat.
What the Moo Monitor does, because it actually shows as well the silent heats, or the cows that might show their heats a little bit less than ordinary cows, if they peak up and you be able to breed those animals, you actually have less cows that you will be culling. Plus you have more calves in the end of the year that will be born. So you work actually on 2 ways. You have less culling rates and you have more replacement animals, which actually gives you a lot more money in the end of the row.
If we get our calving intervals 365 days, we can hope to have a live birth rate of around 95%, we can hope to increase our submission rates. Seeing as we're picking up health events earlier, we can decrease lameness and we can decrease the amount of mastitis on farms. We'll be able to reduce the amount of treatment costs, milk withheld for antibiotics, vet fees. We won't be using vets as much for emergency situations, putting out fires. Instead, we can avail of veterinary services for herd health management, doing up protocols for treating sick cows, reproductive scanning, stuff like that.
Quite recently there was a big study published in the Journal of Dairy Science by Kansas State University. It looked at the accuracy of the system, and it's by far the highest accuracy of any published study for activity monitoring systems in dairy cows. But it showed that optimizing the timing of insemination improves the chance of getting a cow pregnant. And this is hugely important because it means if you can pinpoint the right time to breed the cow, the chances of you getting a calf as a result of that is much, much better. There's also lots of other studies which looked at, when heats occur. One of the things that has come out from those studies is that typically between 70 and 75% of activity is at night time. So invariably this is the time when you're actually not watching the cows. And in fact, over 30% of those cows that were in heat for less than 8 hours. So if this happens at night time, generally your opportunity to observe the fact that the cow was in heat is gone by the following morning. And this is where 24/7 monitoring with Monitor Plus comes in.
The more information you have, the easier it is to monitor everything and to make informed decisions about your cows.
We knew this area of fertility was a huge area for dairy farmers, an area that could be improved on so many farms all around the world. We also knew that we could use technology to actually solve this problem, and in fact solve it much better than anything else was doing it out there in the marketplace already. So coupling this innovation with a real need from dairy farmers was really what drove us to develop the system.